One thing I've never understood is fandom. It's very interesting how people just become such huge fans of somebody, a team or sport or a music group or whatever it is, and just defend them to the death more than if they were the person's mother or the manager of the band or the whatever. And so it's interesting, Bill Simmons on his podcast often talks about that. In fact, he had Charles Barkley on the other day, and they were talking about how, especially like these towns like Salt Lake City or back in the day, Portland, if you said anything disparaging or even true about a team, saying, oh, they're not this or that, you would just have the wrath come upon them. And, I get it. I guess I don't really understand. I've never been a giant fan to the death of any team, sport, band, or anything. But one thing you find out when you do YouTube is that there are definitely fans. And it's interesting in the fringer sports, and yes, there are fringe sports, of ultra running, of, marathoning, even running, in general. It's not a huge sport, but there's just this obsessive fandom and people defending people and whatnot. And it's interesting, like I said, triathlon has it. I started doing triathlons in 1980, 81. I've been doing ultras for quite some time. I've been running since 1979. I've been a fan of ultras since the 80s as well. So I know the history. And so when I make comments, even though I just do this off the top of my head for the most part, maybe with a little bit of half-ass internet research, I don't do very much. And so it's very, very interesting that probably my most popular video on here, and thank you for watching, and please subscribe, is the one where when Kilian and his team, Solomon, were pronouncing, he was going to go after the 24-hour record by Jonas Kuros. And I was pretty certain and even said beforehand he wasn't going to get anywhere near it. And it turned out, he dropped out after 10 or 11 hours, 90 miles or so. And, I made a video saying, wow, he actually went further or dropped out before I expected. I thought he'd get to at least 100 miles. And I made comments in that video. And it's interesting. People have made comments on it, and that's fine and great. I don't really like to write, so I just do videos. I don't even bother and so I wanted to answer some of them. And recently, that video is kind of, still gets lots of hits, but no comments. And then yesterday I had a guy commenting, and he actually put in the marks of when I say these comments. And so it was interesting. He says, kind of like I questioned, like, why did they do it in Norway? And I knew he lived in Norway. I don't remember if I said that exactly in the video, but, he got married and has a kid. But, it's like, if you're going to go try and break a world record, you don't do it in Norway in the middle of winter on the shortest days of the year. I mean, I went to across the years for many years doing 6-day races and seeing people. In Phoenix, it's not as cold as Norway, but it's pretty damn cold. And it's not ideal conditions to try and break records when there's so many more places to do it. And of course, this person says, at 30 seconds into it, I guess, he says, because he lives in Norway, FFS, or FFS, I assume is for fuck's sake. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, we get that. But you know what? So what that he lives in Norway? I live in Bakersfield, California, but if I'm going to try and run a good race, I'm not going to run in the summer here. It's over 100 degrees. That's, like 40 degrees centigrade for you folks. And I would just say, hey, Joshua Cheptegei, he's from Uganda, but when he wanted to break the 5K record in Monaco, and that was at a big meet, but when he wanted to break the 10K record, they did it in Kilian's home country of Spain. They found a great venue in a good time of year, good weather, and he went and ran that. I mean, when Cheptegei broke the world record in Monaco, he was stuck in Uganda, but there's no way he's going to run the race in Uganda. Uganda has like one all-weather track, and he even trained on a track that was like an egg-shaped track with a hill in it. So, he went to where the facilities were good. He went to Monaco and broke the 5K record. He went to Spain, and, he traveled even during this COVID. In fact, for the 5K record, he got the president of Uganda to chart him a flight, but it still took a day or two to get to Monaco. And then you can say, and Joshua Cheptegei was trying to break a record that was 15, 16 years old, just like Kilian was going after, Giannis's record, which is, an incredible record that no one's gotten near. I mean, the nearest American's a half marathon behind it. It's like 188, and the American is like a 175 or something. So, just to go out and say, we're going to break this record, that's our goal. And yes, they were saying that in their, on their social media, and just acting like it was going to be this easy thing. And then all of his fans, and most of them are fanboys, all jumping on it like, oh, he's going to get it easy. He's got this great, amazing record in the the mountains and stuff, and, skimo and all these kind of things. And that's all great. But you know what? The records in a lot of races he wins, it's a small field of people. He's not going against the best in the world. He's going up against whoever happens to live in these cultures. You know, I mean, skimo, it's an expensive sport. Not everyone's doing it. Now, running, like Joshua Cheptegei getting the 5K record, everybody in the world can run, and almost everybody in the world can afford to run. And so when you're winning events against a small field, and this person brings up, you know, he says, I don't think you need to tell him that. He ran, 90 miles with a dislocated shoulder, along with huge suffering in the mountains, something that flat runners don't have to deal with. Well, yeah, he ran 90 miles with the hurt shoulder, but, you know, he did that at Hard Rock. And yeah, Hard Rock's a hard race, but it's also harder to get in. So the competition is pretty weak. I mean, no disrespect to whoever's out there, but if you're pretty talented, you know, it's 100 and something people in the race. So, you know, and then talking about, you know, if you're going for a record and you're serious about it, you know, and obviously Solomon was serious about it and Kilian was serious about it, go to a venue that you can do it. I mean, you look at, you know, Kipchoge, he wanted to go sub-2. The first time they went to Italy, with him and Nike, tried to break the record. Didn't happen. He almost broke it. He was 20-something seconds over it. Then they went the next year to Vienna, and they broke the record. But they picked a venue in good conditions to do it properly. And so, yeah, I can make a comment that doing it in Norway, I don't care if you live there. It was just a bad idea, freezing cold conditions, and that's kind of my whole thing on it. This person, I guess, also was watching my other videos. Another video kind of after I'd watched the, you know, watching things more on Kilian because people were saying, oh, you need to brush up on it. I, you know, kind of went on a YouTube deep dive, you know, and also I remember hearing about the controversy of whether Kilian made it to the top of Everest. And I basically said in my video, I think he thinks he made it to the top of Everest, but he's got nothing to show proof that it was. He's got, you know, no Garmin data, no, you know, smartwatch data, no photos. He says he got there in the dark, but, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's just, and so in my video, I'm not claiming he cheated. I'm saying that, yeah, he may have thought he was there, but possibly he was mistaken, you know, and if you watch, I remember one of the videos I watched, you know, Kilian was definitely out of it. You know, and he did 2 attempts, as this person says. You know, he says, from the north side of Everest, you cannot mistake being on the summit. There is nothing anything like the summit on the way. His time is FKT for the north side of Everest. And then he puts the time code. He says, are you being deliberately stupid, not used to the dark? Please look into who Kilian is. He did Everest twice in the dark in 1 week. Absolutely embarrassing. I guess my comments are absolutely embarrassing. Well, the thing is, if he did it twice in 1 week, he was pretty out of it. I remember watching the videos, and he was high up there. And I don't care who you are, you know, it's definitely difficult to be in the death zone, you know, because it's just physics. Like I often talk about, you know, going up in altitude, and if you go up too fast, you have issues. And I often use, you know, the bends in diving. You know, Michael Phelps, the greatest swimmer of all time, you know, if he goes down in scuba diving, he has to follow the rules and protocol. He can't deny bends. You know, that just happens. And Kilian, no matter how high his VO2 max is, the altitude is going to affect him. So, you know, you had the altitude, the strain, the stress, the tiredness. And, you know, did he summit? Maybe. Did he not summit? Who knows? He doesn't have any real proof either way, and it's obviously controversy. So it's just kind of an interesting take on these the comments of this person. You know, thank you for the comments. Thank you for watching the videos. You've obviously dissected these, probably put more effort into it than I did making them. I just kind of, you know, it's a Sunday night here in Bakersfield, California, and I've been watching Terminator and then playing some poker. And then I thought, well, I'm going to kind of look at the comments and kind of say my take on them. So basically the comments, the person was, you know, why did he run it in Norway? Because he lives there, and about suffering. And the thing about it is, it says, along with huge suffering in the mountains, something that flat runners don't have to deal with. And that's the thing. Trail running and flat racing like that are totally 2 different things. And that's what I said in the video, you know, and yeah, I mean, trail running can be hard, but you're not running a steady, consistent pace for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I've been to lots and lots of flat races. I mean, I've done half a dozen 6-day races, and all those races have 24-hour races. So I've been out there watching many, many people do it. I've been to many 48-hour races, actually done fairly well in them. Been to many 24-hour races. And so I've seen hundreds and hundreds of hours, hundreds and hundreds of people being out there day and night, and I know what it takes. And Kilian did not at that time, I don't think, had what it takes and didn't really understand what it would take to do it. Yeah, he's run for 24 hours at Hard Rock, but that's about the only time. Usually he's done a 100-mile race in 14, 15 hours. He hasn't gone all night, all day. And like Giannis Kouros used to say, he didn't even think an ultra really starts until after the 24-hour mark. Kilian said after it that he was going to try and do it again. I doubt you'll ever see him trying to go for the 24-hour record again. He's got other things to do and other things that he enjoys doing, and running around in circles for 24 hours is not enjoyable from what I can tell. I mean, I've done it myself, and watching others, it's definitely a specialized event, and that's my take. So please hit subscribe if you would, and as always, stay healthy, be boring, not epic.